Hi, this is Melissa with A Creative Journey with Melissa, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own custom ribbon, only it's going to be tie-dye, so it's a little bit different than what I've showed you before. Hopefully you will enjoy it as much as I enjoy making it, and I will say if you do not want to have your hands stained, make sure you wear gloves because you will get your hands stained. A lot of times you can use the alcohol to get the ink off because we're using alcohol ink, and alcohol gets off alcohol ink, you know, kind of like water gets off watercolor type of idea. However, sometimes it stains and it's just not going to come off. So I am warning you now that I will have beautiful colored hands at work tomorrow. And you may too if you decide to do this. So I personally don't really work very well with gloves, so that's why I don't wear them. I have eczema, so I tend to have issues with wearing gloves, so that is why I don't. So I would rather have the color on my hands so I can have a reminder of how creative I got over the weekend or whatever day it was. So that is how I roll. So however you roll, you need to decide that for yourself. So with that, I have 70% isopropyl alcohol. My Chicago accent just came out. Did you hear that? Alcohol. We have Chameleon pen refills, which is also alcohol ink. We have some paper clips. We have some, I totally just had a mind blank on what these are, and I'm sure you're screaming it or thinking in your head it's just these, but I can't think of it right now. And so these, and then we have some seam binding, and it's white, and then we have some mini little sandwich bags. You can use a jar. I have a jar that I was going to use, but I thought it might be easier to show you how to use it with bags, because most people do have bags at home versus just a jar, a random jar that you can use and I guess kind of waste on just doing this. So I thought this would be a little bit more practical for someone that has stuff at home. If you haven't watched my videos before, I like to do different creative things on a budget, because if we didn't, we would be broke, and that would be a problem, because I love to create. I love to have new things that are creative and all the new products that come out, but I also like to utilize the things that I do purchase for multiple reasons. I don't really usually buy something just for one reason. So that is why I try to be thrifty with my craft decisions. So with that, so what you're going to need is, like I said, you need this isopropyl alcohol. You'll need the alcohol ink. There's other ink refills or other types of alcohol ink you could use. This is just what I have on hand. We have paper clips. I still don't remember the name of that. We have the seam binding. I use these little makeup pads because I have them on hand and they work really well if I need to clean up a little mess. I will tell you this work surface is washable and cleanable. So make sure the work surface that you use is washable and cleanable, or else you will stain it and it will be for a long time. At some point it may fade, but no promises. So make sure you protect your work surface. With that, so we're going to take all this stuff to the side, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. So usually I have, so we have YO3, VO4, and BG4. I'm going to show you those real quick so you can have a close-up of that. So I have these, and the reason why I have these is because I thought they were kind of summery and bright. So that's why I picked these guys. You don't have to use these. You can use whatever color you want, and I still don't remember. Anyway, it's awful. Clothesline clips. I know that's not the word. Anyway, so I have the seam binding. It's a brand new one. I had other ones too, but I wanted to show you how they come. So they do come with a little pin. So hold on to that pin, because you can utilize that after you cut off the amount that you'll need. So I have my handy dandy scissors here. That's a little reference to Blue's Clues if you guys don't know that. My kids used to watch Blue's Clues all the time, and I loved it. I thought it was a great program. I hope someday, if my children decide to have children, that I will be able to share Blue's Clues with them as well. But that's what the handy dandy notebook is, what it was in that show. Anyway, I guess I'm a little chatty today. So I'm just cutting a random amount of this ribbon so I can show you the two different kinds of ways we're going to make this tie-dye custom colored ribbon. So I'm trying to do this without dropping this cute little pin. It's a little guy, so I'm going to have to stick my finger with it so it'll actually lift it up. How messed up is that? Anyway, so I'm just taking that little pin and I'm just sticking it back in. Pretty easy. Just make sure you hold on to it. Don't throw it out because, like I said, you'll want this. It doesn't really tape well, so you want to make sure that you put that pin back in there so you have that. Okay, so with that, what we're going to do now is we're just going to take this ribbon. I'm just going to bunch it all kinds of ways. No specific perfect way, nothing fancy, just kind of doing this. Now, mind you, I know that if you have done tie-dye before, you've probably done it with ribbon. I'm sorry, you've done it with rubber bands. I'm doing it a little different on purpose because I want to see a little bit of different look. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to take this little part and I'm going to twist it, and I'm going to just take this little clip and clip it right there. And then I'm going to take this little part here and clothespin. Took a while. Anyway, see, I knew it would come. The gerbil has now turned in the building. So then we have this here. I'm going to twist this up a little bit, and then we're just going to twist it and twist it and twist it, and just so we have it just on the end part. So that's that. Okay. It's not going to lay flat because it's twisted. Okay. So there. And now what we're going to do is take this part. I'm going to be a little bit more methodic about this one. And I'm going to just wrap it around my fingers like so. So it's nice and neat. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do. And you'll see the difference. Truthfully, I've never done this before. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. I just needed some different kind of ribbon for my cards, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to make some. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll show everybody else how to do it too. So I do like the look of just the rubber bands, like a regular tie-dye. However, I wanted something a little different, which is why I'm showing you this. So it'll kind of have a little bit of a tie-dye look, I'm sure, with the way that these are staggered, but we'll see. Oops, actually I wanted to do it this way. So see how the paper clip has two different ways it could be looking, like that or like that on either side. So I'm going to switch it around. So on one side it has it one way and one side it has it the other way. Now be careful, these paper clips will snag the ribbon, so you want to make sure that you don't do it too hard, and make sure you don't just force it too hard, or else it will snag it. I guess really in the big scheme of things you could still use it or cut off that little piece. But at any rate, that's what I'm doing here. So you see how it's got a little bit of different look right like that. See that? And then it's opposite on that end. So that's what we're doing here. Okay. So we're going to now take the little baggie and we're going to place this ribbon inside. And it's basically like a little work area is what I'm using it as. Kind of looks like a boat, doesn't it? Kind of funny. Let's see if I can get it to sit the way I want it to. Hopefully. There we go. That looks pretty good. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to go ahead and drip some of the colors that I want. I'm going to make this one with just the blue and the yellow because I want to make it more for a summer, like a water theme. Now these do come with syringes, so you can be a little bit more precise with them, but I'm not doing that, so we're just going to dribble away. Ready? That's probably way too much, but that's okay. And then I'm going to dribble a little bit more on the other side. I'm going to, whoopsie, look at that. That top part stuck in there. That's good. It's a good seal, huh? Stick that back in there. And then we're going to go over here and do a little bit of that. You see that? Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to close up this bag, and all the excess, I'm just going to shake it up a bit. Now you see why. We want to make sure we have something that it's in, because it's really, really super duper stainy, if that's a word. So I'm going to close this up. I'm going to cap this. Now you want to make sure you cap your alcohol ink, because if you don't, alcohol evaporates. So you want to make sure that you don't just leave it out there and leave it out hanging, because if you do, you're going to end up ruining it. That would be bad. We wouldn't want that. So with that, I believe I have a protective mat. I don't. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it on a piece of paper, just so we can show you what it looks like once it dries. So we're going to put that aside. And what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to open up this so it does evaporate a little bit quicker. okay? It did not turn out the way I had hoped, but I'm really interested to see what it looks like with the paper clips and what happens with that. So now what we're going to do, it's a little bit more muddled than I had hoped. I think it's because I put too much of the blue in there, although it looks really green to me. So we'll see how that dries, right? Okay, whoops, there we go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to dribble some directly into here, some on that side, so I have a little bit more control over what I'm doing, and then some on the other side. There's that little lid again, like that, okay? And I'm just doing the purple and the yellow. Oops, I forgot to put that little cover in. So let's do that. And close it up. Okay, so we're gonna put these aside. So now what I'm doing is I'm just gonna, oops, make sure you close yours really well too, because if you don't, they will evaporate and you wanna make sure you don't lose your ink. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to be dabbing a little bit of the colors in different places. And then in the middle part, I'm gonna lift it up a little bit, kind of purposely, you know, place the color a little bit more than I did with the other way. And it's gonna be a lot lighter because I don't want the muddled look as much. So now I'm kind of mushing it around a little bit. Now, if you see that you've got something that you really like you really like the pattern, or you really like the way it looks, or it's really working for you, then of course repeat that. But if you see something, you know what, like this I don't really care for, but I'm hoping it looks a lot better when it's done, then you can always wing it. Crafting, there is really no wrong answer. You can always just make a wrong answer into a right one. How many times have we done that? So I'm just kind of mushing this around. Again, this will be a lot drier than this one because this has a lot of extra ink. Like I said, I poured a little bit too much than I had anticipated. So I'm just kind of squishing around the extra colors here. Okay, so now I'm going to put this down, this piece of paper, so you can see it better too. Put this on the side. So that has, let me see if I can get a little bit more ink on there. There's a little bit more left, so we'll try to do that. Let's see what we got here. Put it in the corner, like so. There we go. Perfect. All right. So we have this like that. Put that aside. And then we still have this guy who's really wet still, but we're going to put him right on the side here. Okay. And look at all that. Yowza, right? Lots of ink. So there's still plenty in here, just for the heck of it. I think I'm going to cut some ribbon and put some in there just to see what happens, to see what I get. So I'm just going to take that pin out, put it on the side so I don't lose it. I'm going to cut some of this off, because you don't really want to waste the alcohol ink either as long as you've got it. So I'm just going to put that aside. We're going to put this little guy in here and see what happens when we just put it in and squoosh it. Squoosh it is a word, and you'll see how much, oopsie, you'll see how much lighter it comes out because there's not such a saturation, say that 3 times fast, of the ink. So you're going to see how cool that looks. Actually, I'm probably going to like this the best. Isn't that funny? And that's what I mean. Sometimes when you're crafting, you create something and you think, oh, this will work, this won't work, oh, and you find out something simple like just a bag with some ink probably works the best. Even though I had some great ideas, not so much. Anyway, so we're going to put that on the side there. So what we have, actually, let's just pull it out. I'll pull it out right now. See what I mean? My fingers are going to be very, very inky. So this basically just turned out to be like a little bit yellow, but mostly green because there was so much green in there. So one lesson we learned is don't put too much ink on your in your bag, or else you will totally make a mess. So let's not do that. And that's what we have here. So I'm going to open that up in just a minute. We have this though, and this one is almost dry. So I'm going to open this up. I'm interested to see what the pattern is, and I hope you are too. So the clothespins here, I'm not sure if I did say that before, but clothespins, I finally remembered what it was. I really like this, the way it came out, because even though there's such a significant white area, that's so, so different. My son's high school colors were purple and gold, so I think this will be perfect for his page. So this worked out really well. So I like the use of the clothespins, and these are pretty inexpensive to buy. And you can use them over and over again. Just make sure you let them dry so you don't get any of the other colors on there. So I don't know, what do you think? Do you like it? I like it. I think it came out pretty cool. It actually does have the amount of white that I wanted. I didn't want it too purple or too gold because I just wanted it more for an accent. And because it's for a boy, I didn't want it to be super feminine as far as having tons of bows and things like that. I'll probably tie knots on it instead of bows. But I don't know. We'll see what the creation is, and I'll share that with you in the future. So that's the purple and the gold. And it's dry, so we're good. Now we have the green. And now we have the really, really wet one. So let's see what happens here. This is soaking, like there was no white whatsoever. So there's the lesson. It didn't even, oops, it did not even work. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna just bend these paper clips because they're not coming off very well. Here we go. Try to, and again, it's snagging on the actual ribbon. So we need to make sure we're very careful with that because we don't want to rip it if we're going to use it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this on a craft. I'm sure I'll find some type of card or something to make with it. But this is super saturated. Look at that. Oh, it actually did come out kind of neat. Look at that. Ooh, I'm actually pretty pleased. Check that out. It'll look really nice when it's dry. Check it out. It actually didn't come out too bad. Look at that. Although my hands are amazing. Look at that. How about that? That's a nice little surprise. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll take pictures and put it on my blog with my posts so you can see what it looks like once it's dry. But I think it came out pretty good, so I'm pretty excited. It's much better than I thought it was going to turn out. That is for absolute sure. I will tell you this. Those paper clips I will not use again just because there's so much ink on them. I think it'll rub off, and I don't think it'll actually be as helpful or be able to be reused as much as we had hoped. So look at that. How about that? Pretty cool, huh? I like the way that came out. Much better than I had thought. How about you? Did you think it was going to come out that good? Me neither. I like it. I like my fingers the best though. So we have this green one right here with the extra ink, and then we have this. Now the other thing too, remember, you want to be careful not to get any of the other inks on here. So that is what we did with the coloring of different custom tie-dye ink on the seam binding. So pretty cool. What do you think? I hope you liked it. So I'm going to go find a way to wash my hands. And by the way, if you need to wash your hands with this stuff, you can use alcohol, but at some point it won't all come off. So don't be surprised. That's why I wanted to give you the warning ahead of time. If you're going to a fancy place and you don't want to have different color fingers, you may not want to do this project right now, but it'd be a really cool project for kids to do if you just put a little dribble like I did with this one, or like this one, and you can put them in a little baggie and just do that. That'd be kind of neat too, huh? So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this creation. We're learning on our way, right? Just on the fly. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure you check out our website at www.acreativejourneywithmelissa.com or www.acjwm.com. We have a ton of really cool stamps. We have lots of cool stuff on our YouTube channel and our blog. Any YouTube channel video we typically do on our blog with pictures and stuff, step-by-step instructions. So hopefully that helps you to be creative. And check out our website for our sign language stamps, our awareness ribbon stamps, including breast cancer awareness, autism awareness. We have awareness ribbon stamps that can be utilized for any awareness cause. And thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed going on a creative journey with Melissa. Have a great day.